Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever had a moment late at night, maybe just you and your thoughts, when you questioned everything, when it felt like the world was pressing down and you weren't sure if you'd rise again? We've all been there. That moment when life whispers, you can't. The mental strength is what answers back. Watch me. But here's the truth. Mental strength isn't something you're born with. It's built. And anyone can build it. Today, I want to walk with you through 5 powerful ways to become mentally strong. Not in theory, in life. We live in a world obsessed with comfort. We design our homes, our technology, and even our daily routines around avoiding discomfort. We're told that happiness comes from ease, that success should be smooth, and that if it's hard, something must be wrong. But the truth, one that many never want to face, is that the very thing we try so hard to escape is the one thing that makes us unshakable. Pain, adversity, failure. These are not detours on the road to greatness. They are the road. We've been conditioned to believe that discomfort is the enemy, that if we're struggling, we must be doing something wrong. But that's a lie. Struggle is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're growing, that you're pushing the limits of who you were yesterday, stepping into the discomfort of who you're becoming today. Think about it. Growth never happens on the couch. It doesn't happen in the safety of routine. It happens in the gym, when your muscles burn and your mind tells you to quit. It happens in the silence of rejection, when your work is turned down, your voice is unheard, and you feel like giving up but don't. That's where it happens. That's where you forge strength. Not just physical strength, but the kind of strength that can't be seen. The kind that shows up when life gets loud and uncertain. The kind that keeps you standing when everything inside you wants to run. Look at the Navy SEAL. These are some of the most elite human beings on the planet, but they don't earn that title through ease. Their training hell week is designed to break them. Sleep deprivation, freezing temperatures, physical exhaustion to the point of hallucination. And every moment they're asked just one thing. Will you keep going? They're not looking for perfect athletes. They're looking for people who choose to show up through pain. Because that's what mental strength really is. It's a choice. The choice to keep walking when the path disappears. The choice to stand when it would be easier to collapse. But this isn't just about soldiers. This is about all of us. The business owner who's down to their last dollar. The parent fighting to stay strong for their child. The dreamer with 12 rejection letters and no sign of hope. It's easy to celebrate success, but the true measure of strength is what you do in the valley. When no one's watching, when the applause is gone, and all you have left is the echo of your own heartbeat telling you to fight one more day. Take J.K. Rowling. Before she became a global name, before a boy wizard changed the world, she was a single mother, living on welfare, struggling with depression, and facing rejection after rejection. But she didn't let the struggle stop her. She didn't wait for conditions to be perfect. She wrote anyway. She poured her pain onto the page. And in doing so, she transformed not only her life, but the lives of millions. Not because she avoided struggle, but because she faced it. She accepted it. She used it. You see, the mentally strong don't pray for the storm to pass. They prepare themselves to endure it. They don't romanticize hardship, but they don't resent it either. They understand that life will hurt, and rather than resist that reality, they embrace it. They whisper to themselves in the dark, "This is hard, but so am I." There's a quiet power in that statement. It doesn't pretend that struggle isn't real. It doesn't pretend you won't feel pain, or fear, or doubt, but it reminds you that inside of you, there is something stronger than what you're going through. That your worth is not measured by how little you suffer, but by how deeply you grow through what you suffer. That's what resilience is. It's not a flashy moment of triumph. It's not the final scene of a movie when the hero wins. It's the countless invisible choices to keep showing up, to keep believing in something better. Even when everything in your world is falling apart, it's being knee-deep in chaos, and still finding a way to move forward. Inch by inch, breath by breath. And here's the beautiful part. Struggle is not something to be ashamed of. It's not a flaw in your story. It's the fire that refines it. It's what takes the raw material of who you are and turns it into something extraordinary. Your scars are not your shame. They're your strength. They are proof that you faced something that could have broken you and did. So when life gets hard, and it will, don't shrink, don't hide, Don't wait for the storm to end. Walk into it. Because inside that storm is your transformation. Inside that chaos is the version of you that you were always meant to become. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more real people. People who know how to fall and get back up. People who aren't afraid to feel pain, to cry, to scream, to fail, and to still keep moving. That's the kind of strength that inspires others. That's the kind of strength that changes families, communities. So next time you find yourself in a moment of doubt, a moment of darkness, remember this. The struggle is not the enemy. It's the invitation. It's the teacher. It's the moment that asks, who are you willing to become? Answer with courage. Answer with heart. Answer by stepping forward through the storm, through the pain, through the fire, knowing that every step, no matter how difficult, is taking you closer to the person you were born to be. So much of our pain comes not from what happens to us, but from our fight against what we can't control. We spend so much time trying to rewrite the past, change people's minds, predict every outcome, fix everything before it falls apart. And in that desperate effort to grasp the ungraspable, we lose something far more precious, our peace. The truth is, life will always hand us chaos, disappointment, heartbreak, unexpected loss. They don't ask for permission before they show up. But in every storm there's a moment of choice, a fork in the road, where you decide, will you be consumed by what you can't control, or will you reclaim your power by focusing on what you can? Mental strength isn't about pretending to be invincible. It's not about pretending things don't hurt. It's about the clarity to know where your energy belongs, and more importantly, where it doesn't. There's a powerful story of a man who lost everything in a wildfire. His home, his savings, decades of memories reduced to ash. But when asked how he was doing, he didn't speak in bitterness. He didn't curse fate or retreat into blame. Instead, he said something remarkable. The fire took things, but it didn't take me. I still get to choose who I become now. That's power. That's strength. Not in controlling the fire, but in choosing who you are on the other side of it. You see, you don't get to control the weather. You can't stop the storms, but you do get to decide how you sail your ship. You can choose your direction, your attitude, your response. You can choose whether you become bitter or better, whether you stay stuck in what was or step into what's next. This isn't easy. Our instinct is to hold on tightly, to people, to plans, to the illusion that we're in charge of it all. But the tighter we hold, the more we break. Mentally strong people know this. They don't waste time blaming others. They don't let setbacks write their story. They channel their energy into what's still possible. Every day, you wake up with a finite amount of emotional energy. You can spend it trying to fix the unfixable, or you can invest it in what moves you forward. You can replay what went wrong, or you can start building what comes. One leads to exhaustion, the other leads to growth. You don't have to have control over everything to be powerful. You just have to control enough your choices, your mindset, your actions. That's where real strength lives. That's where your future begins.
Here's a hard truth we often resist. Quick fixes don't build strong minds. They build fragile illusions. In a world obsessed with speed, where success is expected to arrive with the swipe of a finger or the click of a button, we've grown impatient with the process. But the process is everything. True growth doesn't happen in the highlight reel. It happens in the quiet, uncomfortable, in-between moments. The ones nobody claps for. That's where greatness is born. Think back to the famous marshmallow test. It wasn't really about candy. It was about character. A simple choice, one marshmallow now or two later. And yet that moment held the blueprint for a much bigger truth. The children who waited weren't just delaying pleasure. They were making a decision to trust the future. They were building the foundation for self-control, resilience, and focus, tools that shaped their entire lives. Years later, those same children weren't just scoring better grades. They were showing up differently in the world. Why? Because they'd learned how to delay gratification. That ability, that discipline, became their superpower. Discipline is a muscle. It doesn't show up fully formed. It gets built, torn down, and built again through repetition, discomfort, and choice. Every time you choose the harder path, every time you walk away from something easy because you believe in something greater, you strengthen that muscle. And over time, those small decisions, those moments when nobody's watching, become the very moments that define you. Look at the great Serena Williams. Didn't wake up one morning as a champion. Her greatness wasn't luck.
It was reps. It was waking up when she didn't want to. It was pushing through injury, showing up after loss, and choosing purpose over applause. She wasn't chasing a trophy. She was committed to building a life that mattered. That's what it looks like to delay gratification. That's what it looks like to trade temporary comfort for permanent impact. And the truth is, that choice is available to every one of us. Not just the not just the prodigies. All of us. Every day we are handed a choice: comfort now or growth later. And each time we choose the long game, we shape our future, not through grand, dramatic gestures, but through quiet, courageous consistency. Delayed gratification isn't about denying yourself. It's about honoring your potential. It's a powerful declaration that says, I believe in what's coming more than I need what's easy. When we begin to live like that, when we embrace patience not as a punishment but as a path, we stop measuring our lives in moments of reward and start measuring them in moments of growth. And that's when we truly begin to build something that lasts. Let me ask you something deeply personal, something most of us don't stop to consider. If someone you loved made a mistake, would you tear them down? Would you call them a failure, belittle their effort, or question their worth? Of course not. You'd remind them of their strength, their progress, their humanity. You'd hold space for their pain without making them feel small. So why then do we speak to ourselves in ways we'd never speak to someone we love? This isn't just about being nice to yourself. This is about survival. It's about endurance. Mental strength isn't defined by how much we can take. It's defined by how we talk to ourselves when we're at our lowest. When the world feels heavy, when the pressure builds, when failure seems inevitable. Those are the moments when your inner voice matters most. And if that voice is harsh, critical, unforgiving, you're not building toughness. You're eroding your own foundation. There's science behind this. A 2014 study from the University of Michigan revealed something incredibly powerful. When people use their own name in self-talk, "You've got this, Amanda. Keep going, James," they performed better under pressure. Their stress dropped. Their confidence grew. It's not magic. It's not fluff. It's neuroscience. Creating emotional distance between the self and the moment allows us to access clarity, to engage with ourselves as if we're someone worth rooting for. Because we are. Self-compassion isn't weakness. It's fuel. It's the quiet strength behind every person who chooses to rise again after falling. It's the difference between quitting because you feel unworthy and trying again because you know your worth isn't defined by the outcome. The most resilient people aren't the ones who never doubt themselves. They're the ones who know how to lead themselves through doubt with grace. We've been taught that being hard on ourselves is a badge of honor, that toughness means pushing through with grit and silence. But true strength whispers in a different tone. It says, I see you. You're hurting, but you're not done. You've failed, but you're not a failure. Get up. Try again. That's what the strongest minds sound like. Not a drill sergeant barking orders, but a trusted friend guiding you through the storm. You wouldn't abandon someone you love just because they stumbled. You wouldn't reduce their whole identity to one bad day. You'd see the bigger picture. You'd remind them that they are so much more than their mistakes. That same grace, that same belief, must be offered inward. Because when your inner voice stops tearing you down and starts lifting you up, you tap into a power that no setback can break. When your self-talk becomes your source of strength, you don't just survive adversity, you lead yourself through it. And that's the kind of strength the world needs more of. When we talk about true mental strength, we often imagine grit, resilience, and determination. But these are not standalone traits. They don't exist in a vacuum. They are fueled by something deeper, something more powerful than talent, intelligence, or even discipline. That fuel is purpose. And until you understand your why, the how will always be harder than it has to be. Mental strength is not about pretending everything is okay. It's not about denying pain or pushing through without feeling. It's about carrying that pain with meaning. It's about finding the deeper reason that keeps you standing when everything else is falling apart. Think of the person who wakes up every day to face another round of chemotherapy, not because they enjoy the pain, but because they want to walk their daughter down the aisle. Think of the teacher in an underfunded school who stays late every night, not for the paycheck, but because they believe one student, just one, might change the world. That's the kind of strength that doesn't come from willpower alone. It comes from a mission, a fire inside. Purpose is what lifts us out of bed on the hardest mornings. It's what carries us through the silence when no one else understands our battle.
It's what tells us that even though the journey is long, it's worth every step. Without purpose, we run in circles. We burn out. We break down. But with it, we move forward with clarity, with intention, and with a quiet kind of courage that doesn't always roar, but never stops. Every one of us will face hardship. That's not a question. The real question is, what will that hardship mean to you? Will it defeat you or define you? If you don't know your why, the pain feels pointless. The weight feels heavier. The obstacles look taller. But when you do know your why, when you feel it in your bones, suddenly that pain becomes part of the path. It becomes the very thing that builds you. There's something sacred about discovering your why. It's personal, but it's also universal. Because while your why may be unique to you, your children, your calling, your faith, the feeling of purpose is something we all crave. It connects us. It reminds us we're part of something bigger, that our suffering is not in vain, that our fight matters. So don't just survive life. Don't just push through it hoping things will get better. Stop and ask yourself the one question that changes everything. Why must I keep going? Because when you find that answer, no matter how hard things get, you'll always find a way. So here's what I'll leave you with. Mental strength is not a gift. It's a decision, one made every day. To face pain, not fear it. To focus on what you can control. To wait for what truly matters. To speak with love to yourself, and to know your why so deeply that no storm can take it from you. You are stronger than you think. But now is the time to believe it. Because the world doesn't just need more tough people. It needs people who are strong in mind, clear in purpose, and full of heart.